E ne fa le tue cose. E che non mi sembra a cuore. Buona bausa che ha le tue buone. Mi vuoi sigare che ti ma? Dopo moto un suo. Mamma dei farò a chi si vede massa male fino Pane vede che gliela basanda. Oh, ma una. Ma. 얼마네? 왜 뭐? Termeteu isso, amiga? Vai, come, o penal, a woman, minimum. Abin having my aim, and going, oh, my lord, the kick up, oh, be moment, oh, my, what I go. Oh, my, oh, remember? Perché bennina, insomma. Insomma. Oh, ma una. Pensavo che... Oh, sta. Per no, guarda, metti qua. Non si gare. Oh, ma è guarda, no. Non mi sai ne. Vai, come, In vita ma di che ro? Oh, be moment. Kan be bot. Oh, minimum. In fa wana me kinne halen so. Oh, man. In go wana me. Abin hadin ba. Oh, ma no ne. Oh. Wembo. Penso. Oh, ma. Oh, my, what I go. Oh, my, oh, I come in, I can't be seen a rainbow. Oh, my lord, oh. Open out, but I met the other with my name. Le che chiaro fa ma solo il io ma be ma sta abim having ma allora ma ne ma una be ma ne wembo vai come sta io ma termete ma Oh, ma. Open out, but I met you go. Perché bennina. Oh, 뭐? 오, 많은 얼굴. 네. 오.
Kan mới bỏ sức kinh mà.
왜 뭐? 많이 먹어. 왜 먹었네?
Nó nó mình sẽ nếm
오, 배나 웃었나 내 뛰고. 오, 먹는 거? 얼마네? 오, 오, 많은 얼굴. 네. 오.
Ini fit nào mà thích.
오, 됐다. 많이 점이하면.
Bạn fit được kỹ.
오, 많구나. 오. 밥은 있는 밥을? Ê mẹ, đến rồi mà.
Nếu cái sự gà là cái chuyện mà.
Mình đến rồi.
Để kìa cái phó bao số rồi lấy cổ.
Bên mà.
Thế mình tưởng.
Bà đi chợ mình mà. Mà nó ngồi không biết nè. Mà nè. Mày muốn không? Mà nó ngồi đấy rồi.
Ini phó nó mình kính để hà lên rồi.
Mình đến rồi. Đó. Phải nói bà là mẹ chứ của mà. Mà bố bà mà lên bớt.
Gọi mà mày sao?
Kimsunde, abgönze
Cái cái mình nên là.
amok asof, amasonlevi,
Bên sống với bị nào.
imagozu chumbo,
Thế mình tưởng sẽ mình.
abgönso,
Cái mình xin là phần nào mà phó.
mokedensen, abasin, ilewama.
Ini fit nào mà thích kiểu rồi.
Kimsunde, abgönze fobon, mokedensen, abasin, ilewama. Amasonlevi on,
Cái mình nên là.
amok asof, abgönso, vantiksusim, imagozu chumbo, kumwapantite.
Ini gọi mà mày sao?
Amasonlevi on, limehandlusemeri, Kimsunde, abgönze
Cái mình xin là phần nào mà phó.
mokedensen, imagozu abgönso, vantiksusim, everyone. Amok asof, vomiro. Kimsunde, abgönze for imagozu chumbo, mokedensen, abasin, ilewama. Amasonlevi on, limehandlusemeri, amok asof, abgönso, vantiksusim,
Bên sống với.
abgönso, Kimsunde, amason,
Cái mới bỏ.
imagozu chumbo, kumwapantite for. Amok asof, mokedensen, abasin, amok asof.
Ini phó nó mình kính.
Mokedensen, abasin,
And then go on, Mesa.
Levani pappero dormire, levanate me comona. Dei gattine alla sempre no, levani come se. Chiarate body for smani. Chiarate body for smani. Levani come se, dei gattine levani pappero dormire, levanate me comona.
A series of terrible explosions shook the city. The relay towers became colossal columns of flame, falling on residents' houses and destroying the streets. Violent fires raged for several days, and when they were finally put out, the heaps of twisted iron. Little changed in the country. Ministers continued to fight over power. Old players were deposed by new ones, each more vain than the last. Ordinary citizens remained a bargaining chip in political games, small cogs in the soulless machine of total. The ruling elite had no use for Evan. After the protective dome disappeared, he was held. Like father, like son, they shouted at him in a mocking farewell. And only during that fall, in a state of absolute terror, did Evan Over time, the huge relay towers became a familiar part of the urban landscape. Slowly turning rusty and useless, they hung gloomily over the heads of everyone below. And though some said that the towers were only slumbering, still waiting for their master, no one ever found out what they were really built for. Little changed in the country. Ministers continued to fight over power. Old players were deposed by new ones, each more vain than the. Ordinary citizens remained a bargaining chip in political games, small cogs in the soulless machine. Evan's sacrifice wasn't in vain. None of the ministers who so passionately wanted Who knows how much worse things could have been if Heimdall had fallen into the wrong hands. But in the final seconds of his life, Evan still thought, could things have turned out differently? Was there
Perché bennino?
a low pulsating hum droned through the city, filling the air, boring into. In just a few minutes, the entire population submitted to Heimdall's power. From then on, people thought, felt, wished, and did only what was required of them. The desire of an abstract common good embedded into the minds of citizens had unexpected consequences. As it turns out, everyone has their own idea of good. A wave of unmotivated violence swept through the city. People attacked one another at random, sincerely believing that they were doing it for the common good. When the wave of violence subsided, leaving behind it blood-soaked streets, the few survivors, shaken to the depth of their souls by the incident, and they did it with such fervor that they forgot about their own basic needs. After only a month, Elmer was a ghost town where even the most desperate did not set foot. Anyone who understood what was happening and who still had free will wisely fled the city, while Evan stayed on the top floor, witnessing the consequences of his choice day after day. Sometimes in moments of weakness, he thought that punishing himself with the monstrous sight of the massacre below was enough to atone for his sins, but soon there was no one left to whom he could repent. And so the thought of the shredder several floors below seemed more and more attractive to Evan every day. But what mattered was that the thought was his own.
Perché prendeva?
Chiaramente levani vedi gattine alla sempre no. Nivani chiaramente bani posmani levani pampero bonmino. Levana vedi gattine chiaramente bani posmani. Levana nivani come se levani pampero bonmino.
A low pulsating hum droned through the city, filling the air, boring into every mind, and bent. In just a few minutes, the entire population submitted to Heimdall's power. From then on, people thought, felt, wished, and did only what was required. Heimnitz deceived Evan unashamedly. With the relays at his disposal, he spread them quickly throughout the country and immediately carried out his plan to destroy the population. People dutifully lined up at the euthanasia centers, and when there was no one left, the Boreans came and took everything they needed. The once great country became a desert with the frightening, empty streets of a ghost town. Evan wasn't able to see it through to the end. He was only able to marvel at how quickly his fate had been decided, and regretted that Heimnitz didn't find enough soap for it. At least he wasn't around to witness one of the largest genocides in history, and the destruction of his family along with it.
Nivani chiaramente bani posmani. Vedi gattine alla sempre no. Levani pampero bonmino. Nivani come se.
A low pulsating hum droned through the city, filling the air, boring into every mind. In just a few minutes, the entire population submitted to Heimdall's power. From then on, people thought, felt, wished, and did only what was required of them. Is a cult of personality really such a bad thing? After all, if someone receives praise to the high heavens, doesn't that mean that they deserve it? The mindless worship of the wise leader was replaced by the blind adoration of Evan Redgrave. And if citizens had previously been able to afford to express their disapproval of the current state of affairs even in a whisper, now no one would have dared to do so, because having one's own thoughts is an unaffordable luxury in a country covered with relay towers. But this is not the end, it is only the beginning. There are still so many places in the world where Heimdall towers are yet to rise into the skies, and so many countries yet to learn about Evan Redgrave. Replacing the wise leader, is that not the pinnacle of a ministry career? The name Redgrave was respected before, but now it inspires awe. Isn't that what you wanted for your son, Father? Isn't that the greatness you dreamed of when you created Heimdall? Evan sits at the top of the world, and everything belongs to him, from the mountains and rivers to the people and their thoughts. He alone decides what his subjects can feel and want. Evan Redgrave is a god now, and what does it matter that the fate of all gods is loneliness?